You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
I want to talk about phones today because we just had like a phone meeting, like with our phone staff. And, so I figured that we could just talk about this. And so you guys can have an idea of phones and why phones are so important in the industry. Okay. Now, phones is, there's like two different ways that you can do phones. Phones is on the finding side, right? And then also on the running side. Okay. Finding and running. So on the finding side, I teach the best way for you to find a facility is to go directly to the owner. Okay. And so the way that we do that is we build a list of all storage facilities in the area that you're interested in, and then you call those owners and see if they'll be interested in getting an offer on them. Right. So this is cold calling. That's cold calling. All right. So cold calling owners. All right. So this right here is like one of the hardest aspects of owning, of buying a storage facility. It's actually going directly to the owners. Now you can go online and look for a storage facility, but then you just know that's the easy way. Okay. So my dad, when I was growing up, he always said, Stacy, you can do things the easy way or you can do things the hard way. Which way do you want to do it? And so the easy way obviously is just going online and looking for facilities and putting offers. That is by far the easiest way, even though when you're doing it, it doesn't seem like it's an easy way, right? Because you don't know what you're doing, maybe you don't have to do analysis, you're afraid to talk to realtors or whatever it is. It seems kind of hard because it's like it's the unknown. But the truth of the matter is, if you knew what I know, you know that looking online for facilities to buy is the easy way, right? And the hard way is to build a list and call owners directly, right? And so, the hard way is where most people like this, most people don't do this. They don't do this. So there's less competition, right? So more competition, less competition. And so you ask yourself, who do you want to compete with? It's kind of like, when you're looking for a facility and you want to buy something, you're looking in either a primary, secondary, or a tertiary market, right? You got primary, secondary, and tertiary. All right. There's a little tiny primary market, and there's a little bit bigger secondary market, and then there's like a really big tertiary market, right? There's a lot of tertiary markets out there. But for some reason, everybody thinks that they're supposed to be buying in a primary market. And a primary market is where all the competition is. Like I just talked to somebody this past week, and he was interested in buying in like Nashville, and I was like, do you really want to buy a facility in like Nashville? I mean, do you not understand that if you buy a facility in Nashville, you will be competing with all of the hedge funds across the entire country? That will be your competition. Do you really want to do that? Right? Because like we own facilities in secondary markets and we have to compete with like bigger players. And I'm going to tell you, it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Okay. So like starting out, the best markets are really going to be tertiary markets if you want to get your foot in the door. A tertiary market can be a little tiny market, or a little tiny town, or it could be a big town. But it's going to be the easiest to own and manage in a tertiary market. And then secondary markets get harder and primary markets get harder. The same thing with either going online and looking for facilities to buy or cold calling and trying to get owners to talk to you. Now, when you go online and look for a facility, like, if you go online and you go to Crexy or LoopNet or whatever it is that you're looking at, like those realtors that are listing those properties, they have already done all the work for you. You don't have to do, like, you don't have to go out and try to get all the information with the owner because they've already put this package together for you, right? But when you're cold calling an owner, like they don't have their crap together. Like they are not ready to sell. They're not going to hand over their P&L, their balance sheet, and their tax returns. So you have to work with them and you have to be open to not getting that information until you absolutely maybe need it. And you may not get it at all either, right? So you have to be open to that. So it's just two different types of mentalities. And I talk to both mentalities all the time. Some people, they want numbers. Some people, they just have to have the numbers. They have to, like, I have one student right now that is like, he has to know what the ROI is over the next 10 years. And it's just like, okay, so the types of deals that come from this are probably not going to fall into the types of deals that you're looking for. Okay, like you should be just talking to a realtor and like, getting the information and running the numbers and stuff. Whereas like cold calling, they don't have this stuff. They barely have a P&L and a balance sheet most of the time. I rarely ever talk to an owner where they can just hand over a P&L and a balance sheet. They just like that tax returns. Like they just don't have this stuff. And they don't really want to do that as well too, because a lot of them, they have a whole bunch of different businesses and maybe they're all just in one P&L or something like this, which is like us. You know what I'm saying? If we were going to go and sell our properties, we can't hand you our tax return because we got like, we got 30 different businesses. So like we can't do that. And that's what happens a lot when you're just talking to owners. And when you're cold calling an owner on the phone, like you have to keep that in mind that that's really how they are. And so if that's how they are, how are you going to get them to know, like, and trust you? How are you going to get them to relate to you so that they feel comfortable with working with you, some just random stranger that's like calling them up? Okay. So, you have to keep that in mind on the cold calling. So in that respect, that is why cold calling is so difficult. It's like it's an art and a science. Is it more of an art or a science? I don't know, but it's really it's a difficult way to find properties to buy. But if you can master it and you can get really good at it, it is a very lucrative way to find properties to buy. Way more lucrative this way than going online and looking for properties. But also, again, like we watch all of our KPIs. It takes 200 phone calls to find one owner that wants an offer. And it takes 40 offers to get one facility under contract. Think about that. 200 calls to find one owner that wants an offer and 40 offers to get one facility under contract. All right. So like we did 52,000 calls last year and we got 12 facilities under contract. Okay. So that is cold calling, but we got some amazing deals under contract. And we worked with the owners. There was no realtor in the middle. And so they were like, I mean, we had one guy that was like super nice guy, and he was just like, oh, I'll just throw in this land. I don't need this land anymore. And he's like, I'll just own or finance it. I really like you. Let me just sell or finance it. But like if you have somebody in the middle that's doing all that negotiation, we're working with one property right now where the owner's like, just talk to my realtor, talk to my realtor. And like that conversation, that whole negotiation process is so convoluted. It's really so screwed up, that it's just like a waste of time. So, that's why I like this process better and I push this process. But to each his own, right? On the phone, you can either call owners or call realtors. Whichever one you want to do, that's what you're going to have to do on the finding side. Okay. You can do the easy way or the hard way. Okay. All right. So then the running part, okay, this is the management. So we have like, we have 16 facilities. We meet on every facility pretty much all, like if you can imagine my life, me and my husband's life. We do like 8 properties one week and 8 properties the next. And we have at least an hour to 2 hour meeting every week just on those properties. Okay. And we're going over like the marketing stuff, the boots on the ground, the phones, like how can we keep the pricing, the competition, how can we keep occupancy up, like, our price is okay, what is the competition doing right now, is there any repairs that needed, is the walkthrough done, how are the phone people actually converting, this kind of stuff is what we're doing every week on all of our facilities. So it is quite an extensive work week for us to manage all 16 facilities, and we're meeting twice a month just on things like that. And then, so just to give you an idea of what it looks like in our life, and everyone's like, oh, what do you do every single day? And it's like, in the day when I only had a couple of facilities, it was amazing, right? But like now that we have a lot of facilities, it is a lot of work. Okay. And so in all of these components that I just mentioned, these, if you have a small facility or if you have a big facility, or if you have one facility or 6 facilities, these things are what is going, if you're not thinking about these on a weekly basis about your company, about your facility, then it's going to make or break you. Like gone are the days, well, self-storage facilities are just like buildings that you own and they were just like cash cows and you could just put a sign up and that was it. That does not happen anymore. Okay. Now it happens for us, for me, for people that got in before 2020. The people that got in before 2020, oldies, right? They're cash cows. But for you guys, unfortunately, that's gone. Now it's a business. And you have about 10 years left. And so this business is not going to be available. All right. This opportunity is not going to be available because there can only be so much storage in the world. Like you can't, there's not going to be the same amount of storage as there are houses or, apartments. Like it just doesn't work like that. Right. So there's only so much opportunity. I believe that between 5 and 10 years, the opportunity is going to be gone. If you want to get into storage, now is the time. All right. Understanding all the concepts that I teach, in the course and here and wherever else, my boot camps and everything else that I do, that's what's going to get you into this industry. But if you are not like, if you're not if you're not a player, if you don't have the grind or the push, then those people aren't fitting in anymore to this industry. There's way too much competition out there. So you've got to be on the up and up, right, in order to be able to be in this industry. Just let you know that's how it is. You're competing with me, and I'm competing with like bigger players and like bigger secondary players. And those bigger secondary players are competing with hedge funds, right? And that's how it is right now. And that's how, may the best person win, right? So, okay, so phones. Let's get back to phones now. I'm on my soapbox here. So phones. Okay, so we just had this meeting. All right. The truth of the matter is that when you own a storage facility, the person that answers your phone is the person that is going to make or break the success of your business. I say this over and over and over again. The person that answers your phone is who is going to determine whether or not you're going to actually make money in this business. Okay, so the amount of effort that you put in into making sure that the people that answer the phones are amazing people is going to determine how successful you are. So gone are the days where you could just hire some random VA to answer your phone and then just um, hope that when they answer the phone, they're doing a great job. All right. So inside the software that you choose, your calls are recorded, right? Or you want to make sure that your calls are some softwares don't record calls. You want to make sure that you choose a software where your phone calls are recorded. And so then that way you can listen back to the calls and see like how the people are that answer phone, whether it's you or a VA or a call center or your internal like people that are doing it, whatever, you know. So whoever's answering the phone, you want to be able to listen to those phone calls so that you know it's for training purposes, so that you can go back over the phone call and say, hey, this is what you should be working, this is what you should be doing. Okay. And so that's like number one. Number one for the phone calls is recording calls. Okay. And our phone support team, so internally now we have 4 people that answer, we have 5 people that answer our phones. Okay. And so this is how it looks for us. Okay. So we use that, you do not have to do this at all, but I'm going to tell you how we do it so you can mentally see kind of how we set it up and what's important and what's not important. And this is all derived over like just answering phones for the last, you know, 7 years and knowing what is important in the phone section, in the phone world of storage. Okay. So we use call potential. We don't have to use call potential. Call potential is not a call center. Call potential is a software that if you use a call center that's answering the phone, most likely they are probably using call potential. If they require you to have storage, because storage and call potential work together, we use storage. And so call potential is the software where you can like, you know, manage your calls and stuff. So when this is what our calls look like when you answer the phone. When somebody calls in, this is a call. Like this is a phone call. All right. The phone call is going to be one of 3 things. Okay, it's going to be either a lead, right? A sales call, or it's going to be a tenant, right? Or it's going to be somebody that owes money for some reason. Okay, we call that bad debt. Okay, and so you need to be ready when you answer the phone to be able to be the person that handles this. All right. So if somebody's calling in and they're already a tenant, then you need to be the person that is the customer support person, right? So they're calling because maybe they can't figure out their gate code, or they're calling because maybe their door's not opening, or they're calling because like, you know, some issue, like some sort of issue or something. Okay. Maybe they need to update their credit card and they can't figure it out in the software, right? So this customer support. So these are really like under here, you have customer support, right? So this is like, I need help with this. This is not working, right? And then also under tenants, is everybody listening to me? I'm gonna make sure say yes in the chat. All right. Am I boring you? I love this stuff right here. But like when customer support, okay, good. Customer support or customer concerns. Okay. So like they want to call because they're pissed off about something. They have an issue about something. I don't know, maybe they're locked out of the gate, they can't get in, their door's broken, you know, or there's mice in their unit, or like they saw somebody living in another unit, which just happened to me. I just saw this in another unit. I went over there this past weekend. This weekend I checked on a facility. One of our boots on the ground people has a hernia. I'd have a hernia, whatever. Was it? Yeah. So he had like what's it called? Surgery. So he's like out. So I was like, I'll just drive over there and I'll just check on the facility. And there's like a guy living in the unit, right? So customer support and customers concerns is really what the tenants are calling about. I need help with this. I need help with this. This thing, this is like something weird or some strange guy or whatever it is. So you have to be this customer support person. All right. And then a lead, right? You already know a lead is a sales call. A lead is a sales call. So the way that you answer this phone and talk to this person, this prospect, right, is totally different than how you're going to handle this right here, right? It's completely different scripts. It's completely different tone. It's a completely different pace, all right, than what you're going to be doing for them as well, right? This is where you're adding, right, a new tenant. All right. And what's important about the sales calls is conversions. All right. Conversions equals sales. Sales equal money. Money equals profit. Right. So whoever is answering this part needs to be very good at the goal. Okay. Needs to be very good at converting. And there is a science, there's an art and a science to this. This is not, I'm going to tell y'all, call any storage facility out there that's in the tertiary market. And the owner basically says, hey, this is Jim. How can I help you? They don't even say the name of their storage facility. And then they say, and the guy says, hey, you own the storage facility. I want to see if you have any 10 by 10s available. And he says, yeah, I think I have one. It's $50. I said, oh, $50. Okay, let me see if I can afford that. I'll call you back. That is the conversation. That is a typical conversation. Okay. That conversation is only going to kick you in the butt. Right. So you have to be very good on the sales calls with understanding the needs of the person that's calling and making sure that you're asking the right questions so that you can give them what they're looking for. Right? And I'm going to say for the most part, most people do not know what size unit they need. They're just looking at the price, right? They're just like, how much can I afford? But you are the person, or whoever's answering your phone is the person that digs deeper and creates this, this relationship and this conversation. And always, always make sure you do not give them any prices or any information until you get their contact information first, right? So that you can always follow up. You can put them into an email campaign. You can put them into a text campaign. And you can, and you can, do all the marketing that you need to do because the key is in the follow-up, right? For sales. How many times did I have to email you? Just put it into the chat. How many emails have you gotten before you actually joined this webinar? Right? Was it 1, 10, 20, or 100? Because it could be one of them. It could be any of those, right? Okay, the key is in the follow-up, and the key is in the script. And the key is in understanding the necessity and the needs of the people that are actually calling in, right? So gone are the days where people only really care, are only going to just want to know the price and then just hang up. Okay? All right. And then you have the people, so you have the bad debt. All right, so these are all the people that are behind on their payments. If they're 1 day behind, they are considered late, right? They're considered late. And also another thing is, so this is past due. And then also it's the auctions. Auctions. And also we put contracts. All right, so we got 3,000 tenants. We have a lot of tenants. And in the last couple of years, we added 1,000, 1,500, at least 1,500 tenants. All right. Do you think we got every single one of the 1,500 people to actually sign the contract? Like, do you know how much work and effort it is to get people to get into their account, right? To get them into the account, to get their payment information, and to get the contract signed. So we have one person internally, this is their job, chasing tenants to get this done. And then that same person is the person that is really, really good at getting people to pay their debt, to get to pay their payments. Okay. Now, the way that call potential works, and is that they have like this, and the reason we signed up, one of the main reasons that we signed up for call potential is that when somebody owes money to us, that that phone call gets directed to the pay by phone, right? So like I just looked at the reports, and from February 1st to February 14th, so just in the last 2 weeks, we had 70 people that paid by phone that called in because they got, and then I looked at the I could do like a whole thing on just bad debt, honestly, like a whole hour. But like, we have really email and then SMS, emails and SMS that go out saying, hey, you're past due, hey, you're past due, right? And then we do that like every day from like day one, like after day one to day 20, when they get hit into the lien status, right? Around day 20. Now they get overlocks and stuff like this, but like it's a whole system internally that's set up. Not only in call potential, you can do this also in storage. We use it through call potential. But and so like we had like just in the last 2 weeks, 70 phone calls that my staff did not have to answer because they went directly into the pay by phone and they paid their bill like just by doing that, which I thought I was like just like, oh God, thank you so much. Because this system is set up, right? Email, text. I mean, it's just like bombarding them really. And then it says like email, it says pass to email, pass to text, SMS, and then it says critical email, critical text, like critical email. And then it says like in the subject line, lean, like everything is just like, so it's like this whole thing, right? I love it. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. So, but so you can see that bad debt, you have to think about the person that's going to answer the phone. And if they are going to call out, because they call in and then we also call out, right? So we have like one person that is just really good at debt collection. Because we have like a lot of people that are always past due all the time. We got a lot of tenants, so like this person, the script is that, it's a lot of, and actually just tell you, it's a lot of empathy, right? It's a lot of empathy. It's putting yourself into the situation of the person. Now, obviously, some people are just gonna like one over you, right? But the truth is that people are going through stuff, and like there's a reason why they can't afford to pay. So we need that one person to be that person for us, the voice of us on the phone, empathizing with the person that's having a situation. All right. One of the things we do, this is a very important tip for all of you. And this is something that we talked about in our facility owner mastermind. So if you are an owner of a storage facility and you need to be in a mastermind of owners. This is something that we talked about yesterday. I thought this was a very, very important tip for all owners was that, you want to trade fees being waived for reviews, right? Fees need to be traded for reviews. I will waive that fee if you give me a 5-star review, give our facility a 5-star review. I will waive that fee. Just have to screenshot it and send it to us. And once you do that, I will take that fee off for you. And it's after they've heard the story. I lost my job, or I'm having a hard time paying bills right now. And so, we'll offer something like that. So you don't ever want to give your fees away if you don't have to. You just can get them to give you a review. But that was great. This is something that was talked about in the mastermind. So hopefully, if you're listening, you will join the mastermind so you can get awesome tips like that. We had a lot of really good stuff yesterday. Okay, so yeah. So the whole point of this session today was for you to really think about your phones, all right? To really think about how you're going to be on the phone. Are you this type of person, right? And especially on all of these situations, you've got to, so this sales call right here is what are the needs of the person? So getting the needs from the person out of them, all right? And the longer that you stay on a phone call, the better, right? The longer that you stay on the phone call, the better. And then here, right? So we have the tenants are calling in for support. All right. So you have to be a very good listener. You have to be a compromiser. You have to have empathy. Okay. And you have to be that type of person that answers the phone. Otherwise, you just get screw yourself over. Okay. And then the same thing for the phones. You got to be able to work with the people that owe money. They're in the auction status or they're past due. And then reminding them, hey, you're past due. Would you like to pay with a card right now? Or, how do you want to pay? Okay. And then once they get into the auction status, then you hear all the stories. And you have to be able to sit there and listen to the stories. All right, and come up with a solution for them. Now, obviously, this is a business, so you can only do so much, right? But what you don't want is a 1-star review, right? Because a 1-star review just screws you over. But, so then it takes 10 stars, 10 5-star reviews to get rid of your 1-star. Okay. So, and everybody sees all the 5 stars, but they always pay attention to the 1-star, right? So that's what everybody wants to know is what's the bad things. You don't want to get those, right? And the person that handles your phones is the person that's going to be responsible for the 1-star review, right? Because they're the ones that's talking to the people, So you want to make sure that you're always training. So the point of today was that you need to just be aware that when you buy a facility, this is one of the most important aspects of owning the facility. Okay? Okay, good. All right. So that was it for today. What questions, any final thoughts or questions on what I just went over for phones before we hop off? Or anything else? Just give me a quick question. So I have a couple of minutes to answer some questions. If anybody has any questions. Eric is saying any call centers that you recommend. I mean, in the industry, I can't remember all the names. I know some students use XPS and ESS. There's a couple of them out there. They're getting more and more popular, actually. So I would just ask around, just post it in the Facebook and see, okay, what it is, because I can't remember, because there are a lot of them that are coming on. And then, if you have a third-party management company, they'll have their own call center. But then one of the questions that you need to ask when you're looking for call centers is these questions here. Who answers, if you pick a call center, that has like 30 people answering the phone and they all just answer like whatever, then like there's not any one person that's really good at stuff. So like do they have their own separate like call like people that answer the phone for sales? Do they have their own customer support? Do they have their bad debt collections? Like how do they separate everything out? Or is it just all kind of thrown in? And most call centers, I say they're just like everybody just answers whatever, so make sure that you really get the specifics on that when you ask about call centers, okay? And internally, just us over the past years, just know that this is the way that you really want to set stuff up. This is your mindset. This is how your phone system is working. Okay. It doesn't have to be through call potential. Just know that this is the three ways that you're going to be talking on the phone. Okay. If it's you or somebody else. And the training is super important. And I always say, like the people that are on your team, they're only as good as you train them. If the people that work for you suck, it's because you suck at training them, right? I mean, you're the boss, right? Just put some more time and effort to it. I have one of my students that was just like, he has a virtual assistant answering the phones, and he had done no training. He didn't meet him on a weekly basis. He had no training at all. And like he just wasn't growing. And I was like, well, duh, because like you're not putting any effort into like making this person actually part of your team. So like we meet with our phone team every week. We had a 2-hour meeting, and this is exactly what we talked about. Okay. Do you have any specific classes on wholesaling? So I'm about to release a wholesaling course. Just so you know, it's going to come out probably in March. Like we're getting close to getting it all edited and stuff. So that will be available. I teach wholesaling in the coaching program. There's a lot of wholesalers in the coaching program, and then also in the boot camp. In the boot camp that we just had, I did like a whole session on wholesaling, and then also in the course in the course, there is a wholesaling, like there's a couple of wholesaling sections. But the truth of the matter is that if you want to wholesale self-storage, everything that you need to know up till owning a facility is like what you have to know. So all the finding and the deal analysis is everything that you should be knowing about wholesaling. Okay. Okay. Jethro, wanted to set up one. Yeah, Jethro, I got your message. I have been so busy today, I have not been able to email anybody. So I promise I will get back to you, okay, Jethro? I'll get you set up. What is the difference in price between the online training and the in-person training? Okay, so like the in-person training, the StorageNerds, it's $15,000 for the coaching. Right? It's a lot of money. Right? So it's an investment. And the course is like $1,000. All right, so it's like DIY. I'm gonna do it on my own versus like I want Stacy to like be my coach and hold my hand, okay, and be there for me. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, and you can get on the wait list by just going to storagenerds.com. Okay, and I get that some people can't afford it. I get it. I totally get it. But like that's the price. All right, and then I just opened up my boot camp last January. So I do boot camps January, May, and September. I opened up the January one to the public, and like there was a handful of people that came, but that was it. So boot camp is where you really gonna learn anything, obviously, but you can't like pass up on something. Remember, I'm telling you that window of opportunity is going to be gone within the next 5 to 10 years. If you do not take action now, you can just miss out, right? Because it is becoming commercialized. It really is. Secondary and like primary market storage is going to be commercialized. And then there'll only be availability in maybe tertiary markets. And there's a lot of smaller players like me where I have 16 facilities in like tertiary markets. And so and there's you'll notice when you start looking for storage that there's like in an area, there's like one person that will own like 6 facilities. So it's becoming that way. So you're going to be missing out if you don't get in now. Okay. I think that's it. Hang on. Do you have a group investment team for people who need to pool income to invest? That is for the that was when we were talking about the fund. So I've syndicated deals. I've also co-sponsored deals, and then I have my own fund where I crowdfunded a whole bunch of people together. So there's like different types of funds is what it is. It's a 506B, a 506C, and then it's like, or you can syndicate something which is like one deal by itself. Right? There's a lot of like you have to learn about funds. Is what you have to do. Okay. Okay, I think I answered everything. All right, anything else? I think I got it. Okay, good. I appreciate you guys hanging out till the end. I will be here next week. All right, take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.